What's up, YouTube? Hope everybody's doing alright. Just want to take the opportunity to share a little bit about what I'm thinking currently. I love you guys, and I appreciate any bit of your attention that you're giving me right now. So, lately I've been dealing with lots of new changes and lots of new phases of my life. So I'll just give you a preface, just so you have some sort of connotation of what I've been through. But the last 2 weeks I've been homeless and been traveling and been going from place to place like a nomad, just experiencing different people and different homes and different cultures and different physical locations. And with all that variance comes all the polarizations of life. You know, you got positive and negative interpretations of things, and that's just what I'm dealing with. So I feel like I was very used to everything I was going through to an extent where I was like almost depressed or sad and starting to worry about the stupidest little stuff because everything else was so content almost, which is not the reality of the situation. I feel like contentment is kind of an illusion in some ways, and that it's more about just being able to appreciate what you have, because you're always going to have something that you will be dissatisfied with if you look. There's always something to complain about if you try. But recently I've seen lots of people and places and animals in captivity, and it's kind of the absence of what I'm trying to seek in many ways, is to be free and to be dynamic and to not be stagnant. But ultimately we're all captive, you know, and I can explain that in some ways. It's like you're captive to your own mind, you're captive to, you know, you can't change your family members, things like that. You are captive to Earth. Earth exists here, and you exist here, and that's just kind of the way the system runs. 1 second. Just smoking on some CBD bud. It's awesome. It's illegal. But either way, the captivity of life is kind of inevitable. You're captive to life. You're captive to the sun. You're captive to the earth and your own senses, and captive to this and that and yada yada yada, and these cycles of, you know, of nature, and that's just how life is. But there's a certain part of yourself and a certain part of your own influence that is, you know, that free will, whatever you want to call it, that is free, that exists no matter what, and is always seeking to dynamically be influenced and to progress. But I've met a lot of new friends recently, and I actually got a new house. I'm staying in an apartment. I'm getting a new job very soon. I have an interview tomorrow. But it's life. It happens fast. Things happen quick. So be grateful for what you have in front of you in the moment, because things happen fast, guys. I'm serious. Like, the person you love can die tomorrow. You know, fucking, you could find out that your girlfriend is fucking pregnant, blah, blah, blah. It could be anything. It could be anything. Things happen quick. Fucking fire could burn down your house. Fucking aliens come through the air, whatever, man. It's anything. It's anything. You know, you could be fucking cracking pepper into, or pouring pepper into your food and pour too much and your food's ruined. Shit happens. It's just part of life. You know, and that's what really happens is it's not that things happen fast necessarily, but you just interpret things quickly, and like, it's just how we are, man. We make thousands and thousands of calculations and subconscious movement always, 24/7, no matter what. If you're conscious and breathing, your brain is piecing together all sorts of things behind the scenes that if we had to consciously think about, it'd just be too much. Like, you don't have to think about seeing, you don't have to think about, you know, like, I mean, I can't speak for you, but my ears hear on their own, my eyes see on their own, my lungs breathe on their own, things like that. There's some things that are just happening, and you can consciously analyze them and reflect on them, but they're still them. They're still existing. It's wild to really put in perspective how goddamn immense and just insanely detailed this world is, and how many influences and people and places and outlooks and perspectives there are on just this, on the all, or whatever you want to say life is. It's just, it is what it is, I guess. I don't know. People hate that, but it is what you think it is, or it is how you see it, or it is. It just is. So, I don't know. I think that I want to have a future that inspires people. I want to have a future that helps myself, because I'm not, it's not wrong for me to want to progress myself. There's nothing wrong with it. But as long as I'm incorporating others in a way that I think is positive, then I don't think there's anything wrong with it. The whole metaphor of a fireman can't help somebody else, can't put somebody's mask on to help them breathe if they don't have their own mask on. You gotta put your mask on first. You gotta feed yourself before you can, feed somebody else. And that's just, it is what it is. It's kind of dog eat dog in some ways, but at the same time, it's like we're past that in many instances, and it doesn't have to be super competitive. And we need some competition to have a little bit of inspiration, but at the same time, it's like at some point you got to step back and see how you're affecting others, because you're not alone. You may be stuck in your head, and you may be always by yourself in some ways, but you are not alone on this planet. You may be stuck with yourself, but you're not alone. And it's a beautiful opportunity to, experience what's going on. So, I don't know. That in order for me to perpetuate my growth, I should sculpt my environment. I should use my influence to sculpt my environment to help perpetuate things that I think are positive, or not just positive, but progressive and good and wholesome and authentic, because that's what the world's missing out on. That's the bullshit, man. Everybody puts on a face and a demeanor, and I do it, and everybody does it, and people fucking lose track of who they are because they're so fucking caught up in trying to impress somebody else. And how much of that shit's genuine, and how much of that shit is just fake bullshit trying to get us up higher. And like, people climb this social ladder of hierarchy of influence and just money and monetary and just social status or whatever. And it's sad to see, because I want to make money, and I have a passion for financials, because I do live in a capitalistic country, and that's just what I've been taught and raised on. And I don't see anything wrong with money in some ways, because I can go and work hard and come home and use that money wisely and progress myself. But at the same time, there's a cheaty kind of dark side to this whole system of financial competition and just manipulation that happens when you're trying to get things a certain order. So like, fuck it. I'm at the point where I don't want to spend time trying to incorporate myself into such a system of bullshit in some ways. And like, a part of me wants to go and run and just be a fucking monk and live in the damn woods, but I know it's not my future, and I know that I have a future of influence and power in many ways, and I do seek it. I do seek dominance in many ways, but at the same time, it's like, I don't want to get so caught up in that shit that I lose track of who I am and the fool that I am. I know I can be knowledgeable, I know I can be wise, but I don't want to lose the foolish wonder that comes with being myself. So it's I don't know, it's just a cycle of opportunity, and it almost makes me want to put some art on the internet and just unrealistically price it, because eventually somebody will fucking buy it just because it's available and people have excess amounts of money. Literally, people spend $20,000 on a pair of fucking shoes, and if somebody handed me $20,000 right now, I wouldn't even know what the fuck to do. I'd change my whole life. So things that happen quick. All it would take is, buying a scratch-off ticket, and next thing you know, you're fucking rolling in cash bullshit. Meet one right person who's doing something, in one way, and that way is the way of generating revenue, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't even matter, because the money isn't the issue. It's just the fact that money, the way that it's generated and created, creates a system of malevolence a lot of times. And I don't know, it can be beautiful, it can be benevolent, but at the same time, it has its polarities, it has its polarizations or whatever. It's like the internet. The internet can be a distraction, or it can be a tool to help you learn and be knowledgeable. But with the future that we're going down, the future that I can project myself into is quite intimidating at times. And I want to have a financial, stability in many ways. And more than that, I want to be able to go to the grocery store and buy what I want without feeling guilty. You know what I'm saying? Like, not guilty for what money I'm spending, at least. Like, I want to be able to, take my family and friends to places that I know are influential and beautiful, and I want to be able to invest money into my friends and be able to, perpetuate things that I think are actually beneficial and progressive for the world. And as sad as it is, and as beautiful as it is at the same time, that a lot of times, especially here in America, takes fucking money. It takes fucking money, dude. So I want to have social status, and I want to, dress in a way that isn't, bullshit and trashy and just gives people the wrong connotation. But at the same time, I want to be myself, and I want to be able to genuinely provide the authentic version of myself to others, and that be the thing that sells, or that be the thing that motivates people, not some bullshit profile picture, some bullshit persona that I'm putting on just to, make somebody like me or whatever. And that shit comes with popularity and comes with acknowledging of, just the acknowledgement of others, and, people telling you, oh no, I don't like it that way, you should be this way. And then that shit gets in your subconscious and you start acting like it, and it's bullshit. So it's like, every once in a while, let's take a step back, or at least I need to take a fucking step back and just personalize who I am, and just analyze who I am, and just say, okay, well, is this genuine? Do I actually, little things, whatever, I'll just give you some metaphors. Do I actually like this shirt that I'm wearing? Do I actually like that picture that I posted? Or do I actually, would I do that again, kind of thing? And it's just, part of it is super, like, relevant. It's just, I don't know, it doesn't matter. You get the gist that I love the opportunity that's in front of me. I'm so thankful for the internet, and so thankful for, monetary systems, and so thankful for social media and influences that, have their polarizations. It's just that life isn't always, gushy. Love isn't always gushy. Sometimes it's some bullshit. And I don't want to live out of my heart. Like, that's not what I mean. I don't want to live, like, outside of my heart and act in a way that just helps me. If I start a company, or if I start some new system or something that I'm passionate about, I want it to genuinely be something that I'm interested in, and also to inspire other people and not just be self-indulgent. So, like, if I were to be an artist and I sold my art and I sold my name and my presence, then I wouldn't want it just to be like, oh, I pocket all the money and then I'm gonna buy a car and blah blah blah. Yes, I'd take care of myself. Yes, I'd buy a house. Yes, I'd buy a car. Yes, I'd eat good. You know what I'm saying? Because I earned that shit. But at the same time, I'm gonna turn around and put every single fucking bit of energy and money or whatever into as much progressive community-based opportunities as possible. I'd create jobs. I'd, try my best to, whatever it be in that moment, to facilitate positive growth, that I can objectify. So, it is what it is. I appreciate anybody who watches these videos. I do. And I say it because I mean it, but there's a future coming and I'm in it. So, I want to, socially on the media of the internet, whatever, to, I guess, develop my character in a way that's more presentable so I can reach more of a wider audience for my own personal gain and for the inspiration of others. So be good, YouTube.